This week we are headed for Florida. This is our fifth state on the Atlantic ICW. The St. Mary's anchorage actually straddles the Florida-Georgia state line, but in order to fully cross on the ICW, we will first need to travel 6 miles towards St. Mary's Inlet before we head towards Amelia Island. Today we will be heading for Jacksonville and the free dock at Sisters Creek. Fernandina is a favorite stop of ours, and we are sad we aren't going to be able to stop this time around. But the town is great, and there's easy and inexpensive public transportation that will take you to the beach or the shopping centers. The dock at Sisters Creek may be convenient and free, but it still comes with a price: a ton of current. It can be a real challenge to dock here, and in our 3 stays, we've seen a lot of interesting situations. Take your time, have a plan, point into the current before you approach the dock. Many times fellow cruisers will help catch lines, but don't expect it. This isn't a marina. As you can see here, Andy approached super slow and basically let the current and a little rudder crab us over to the dock.
As I was getting dressed this morning, I could hear the shrimp cracking or popping. So that might be a good time to talk about that because it throws a lot of people off. There are pistol shrimp in the ICW, and you'll start hearing them around Charleston, sometimes a little bit further north than that, but around Charleston. They are these little shrimp that they make this like pop of air. It sounds like Rice Krispies in a milk bowl or like bacon frying. I'll try to find something that sounds like it because I can't seem to pick it up on a microphone. It is not your gel coat cracking. It's not your hull. It's not your batteries sparking. It's just little tiny shrimp eating stuff off the bottom of your boat. It's actually kind of a soothing like noise machine kind of sound once you get used to it and realize what it is. So today is our last day of travel for a while. We're headed from here in Jacksonville to St. Augustine. We're trying to get off the dock here at Slack, which was about 15 minutes ago. So we're going to try to do that before the current starts ripping through here again. It does go about 2.5 knots sometimes, 2.5, 3 knots through here. So you do kind of need a time to get on and off of this dock. The other thing we're timing today is the St. John River, which is a stone's throw from here. I can actually kind of see part of it right now. It is a confusing area in terms of navigation aids, so I would review the chart before you go through. We've reviewed the chart this morning, as they are regularly changing kind of navigation beacons through that area. And the other thing we are timing, we want to be pretty close to Slack in that area because it just makes life easier, which we will be. And then the third thing that requires us timing the tide a little bit this morning is there is a bridge on the other side. I can't think of its name right now, but I'll put it on the screen. That the current absolutely, it's like rapids through it. There's reports of it going 5, 6, 7 knots. I don't know how accurate those are. The most we've seen is like 3.5 or 4 knots through there, but there can be standing waves. And if it's going against you, you very well may not be moving if you are in a slow vessel like a sailboat or a slow trawler. So we also try to time that to have the current with us and somewhere close-ish to slack. Coming north, it's a little bit more challenging just because it's at the very end of your day. Going southbound, it is a little bit easier just because it's only about a half hour, 45 minutes from here. So we will have the current with us through there. If a boat comes, if the current is with you and a boat comes the other way, you will see standing waves under that. We've seen it with center consoles. We've seen it with bigger boats. So if you have the current with you, you may see some wave action under there if anyone has gone through in the last probably 10 minutes. It's pretty crazy how long those waves last for. It's one of those few spots on the ICW where you really, really got to pay attention to your currents. Other than that, today's a pretty easy peasy day. There is a long stretch of no wake zone in this area. So if you are on a faster boat, keep that in mind. It is, I think, like almost, it's pretty close to 10 miles, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of no wake.
Fast, but you may want to
jump out at St. John and come back in St. Augustine. Yeah, potentially. It's a pretty long stretch of no wake. So we'll deal with that today. Pooper, are you ready? Let's start getting lines squared away so we can get off this dock. This might be it might be the last dock, or it might be the second to last dock that we have until like the spring. We might end up on a dock at some point in the Bahamas, but yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that this is like our last dock for so long, other than like fuel and water. So let's go.
At tricky docks like this, we like to talk through the whole plan from beginning to end before we start doing anything to leave. We think it's important for both of us to know our role and what to expect to happen. That way we can react quickly if things aren't going to plan. And in this case, that's exactly what happened.
tie it from the boat and leave it.
With the changing angle, the line got jammed on the dock cleat, but other than having to leave a dock line behind, everything else went exactly the way we wanted it to. And thank you to Jen and Elliot for grabbing our abandoned dock line.
This is an example of like where things are always changing. So I have Navionics, which is showing a completely different picture of what's actually going on here. And then I have Navionics, then Aquamap showing something closer resembling what's actually buoyed here. Yeah. So I'm seeing different things on different charts. None of it's lining up with what I'm seeing in real life. I'm following the Atons, and that kind of matches up with one of the deeper spots on some of my charting. So that's the way we're gonna go.
The reason for the confusion is just because recent dredging has moved the recommended channel and there are so many aids to navigation in this area. Also, a quick glance at the chart might make you think that there's a visible breakwater, but a look at the satellite imagery shows that there isn't. But the buoys marking the submerged rocks are there. I honestly think this is the most confusing junction area in the whole ICW. These are the standing waves caused by just 2 small skiffs. Imagine how crazy it can get when a large center console or trawler goes through. Cabbage Swamp Canal is a 10-mile section that is heavily populated by both houses and boats. Almost all of it is a no-wake zone, so if you are in a speedier boat, just keep this in mind for your travel plans. The Bridge of Lions is restricted to the top and bottom of the hour, and there is a lot of current in this area, so it can be difficult to hold position. If you're staying at the municipal marina like we are, be sure to hail them before going through the bridge, as there are moorings on both sides. This was our last bridge before taking a 2-week break to work on some boat projects. We'll see you next time.